Those who live today remember those who do not. Those who know freedom remember today those who gave up life for freedom, even as their families knew when they last looked upon them that they can never be fully ours again, that they belong now to God and to that for which they so selflessly made a final and eternal act of devotion. We could not forget them. Even if they were not our own, we could not forget them. For all time, they are what we can only aspire to be: giving, unselfish, the epitome of human love, to lay down one's life so that others might live.
I was at Camp Lejeune from 1966 to 97 when I retired, intermittently all the way. Our first pregnancy was a miscarriage. Well, back then, we didn't know about the Camp Lejeune water. And, but miscarriage is on the registry of Camp Lejeune water. Shortly thereafter, my daughter was born. Well, she was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia and aplastic anemia. Both could have taken her. My daughter began chemotherapy. Well, long story short, she finished 3 years of chemotherapy. She's been in remission for 44 years. 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, B-cell. Just under 2 years ago, I started Brukinza. That's my chemotherapy. When I was diagnosed with leukemia, that was, well, it was a gut punch for me, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
My husband, Richard Van Luvender, enlisted in the Marine Corps in October of 1967. It was during the Vietnam era. He knew he had a low draft number, and he has quite a few relatives who are Marines and wanted to be part of the best. He did some training at Camp Lejeune. He was there for 45 days. We had a really, really happy marriage. We were married for 53 years, had 2 children, 9 grandchildren. He's missed by everybody.
He was healthy all of his life. In fact, just a day or two before he was diagnosed, he had helped me move some pretty heavy woodworking equipment. And he moved like this 300-pound thing by himself. And then, a couple days later, he wasn't doing well.
He had chronic myeloid leukemia. And we knew instantly there is no cure. And they put him on an oral chemotherapy regimen, and the lining of his lungs were filled with fluid. And he couldn't breathe. When he couldn't breathe, we had to rush to the hospital, and they would perform a thoracentesis. And in the beginning, we would go to the hospital maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. It got to the point over about a 6-month period where we were going to the hospital every other day. The fluid just wouldn't stop. There were days where he would walk around with a full liter of fluid in his lungs. And it was impossible for him to do anything else because he couldn't breathe. The important thing to me is he stayed himself right to the end, right till the day he died. He was himself.
I was born Camp Lejeune in October of 1959. My dad served from 55 to 60 at Camp Lejeune. I mean, every bottle that I had for 6 months and every drink of water that my mom drank had contaminated water in it. They did a lymph node removal, and that's when they found the lymphoma. They can't cure me of it, but it is treatable. They ended up taking a lymph node from my neck, and that ended up being positive for something called sarcoidosis. Unfortunately for me, they both present the same on PET scans. So I kind of light up on a PET scan, but they kind of don't know how to treat me at this point. But they seem to think that the sarcoid possibly is affecting my heart. We haven't told my mom. I didn't think that she needed to know. It would kill her. It would absolutely kill her to think that, possibly just making my formula and feeding me had something to do with me getting sick. We now have 2 grandsons, a little over a year and 8 months, and I want to live forever. I want to see them. I want to see them grow. I want to see them go to high school and play sports.
It goes back to a sergeant, Jerry Ensminger, whose daughter was 9 years old and died of leukemia, and he knew there was a problem. He knew there was a problem. If not for him, I doubt we would ever be moving forward on this. We signed up with a law firm, the Bell Legal Group, and I figured we would go with them because they had already been working on this issue.
I got legal representation, and my wife has filed, my daughter has filed, and I have filed. And the frustration of knowing that I'm a ticking time bomb. They're waiting for us to die. People knew about this. Marines knew about this. Leadership knew about this way before it was brought to the forefront of the public.
Our country has never been good at taking care of veterans after things like this happen.
I signed the papers well over 2 years ago, and it's kind of just sitting there. Now, I know some cases are going through, but I'm just one of 400,000 people, and if they knew that it was contaminated, somebody should be held accountable. And again, whatever happens, happens.
There's no real justice. If there's an award, money doesn't bring him back. I'd much rather have him than money.
Yeah, I don't know that there is justice. I mean, this is a horrible situation all around, and no amount of compensation can give back what we lost.
When you're on your deathbed or you're going through these treatments, all the money in the world isn't gonna get me healthy.
There's an old saying, justice delayed is justice denied.